many orders were cancelled. But also in our markets, they were having a bigger challenge of COVID than even in Uganda. In Europe, it was too difficult in other places.
As this saying goes, during tough times, it's only the tougher that get going. The COVID-19 challenges have fostered innovation at the Exports Promotion Body, and this has been possible through technological adoption.
We are working to have now a more better website, and we have already started on it. We have now put training materials on so people can go on our website and learn how to export themselves. We are going to help kind of create like a virtual shop for Ugandan exports, meaning therefore you go to our website and we have all those products and you can see them. And when you get interested and you click there, we'll link you directly to the exporters or the export associations.
As the country gets back on track, another challenge is emerging: the blockade of Uganda's products from accessing some regional markets. According to stakeholders, the trade impasse is against the spirit of East African integration.
Farmers' Choice is coming here. Fresh Cuts is not going there. Brookside has been coming here. They get their milk in here. We are not taking the milk there. Lato milk is not in Kenya. When it's in Kenya, it's beaten out. Okay. And so on and so forth. Tanzania. We struggle to get our sugar into Tanzania. But we are importing rice from Tanzania.
Kenya does not have all the milk it requires to be sustainable. So should they be importing milk from Australia? Should they be importing milk from France? And please remember, most of our milk is from cows that don't have bad cholesterol. You know, at times what brings these trade barriers is misinformation or lack of information, or some people who deliberately lie because they want to be in the competition unfairly.
Exports are important to our country's economy because they not only offer lucrative and more markets for goods, but also earn foreign exchange. Dennis Sigoa and Rowena Kajumba for UBC News.
Uganda Tourism Board has launched the 6th Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo 2021. The annual expo, which will take place virtually from the 23rd to the 25th of April this year, is geared at digitally promoting Uganda as the top destination in the world. The event will run under the theme, Restarting Tourism for the Regional and Economic Development.
It's been 1 year since the COVID-19 pandemic wrapped its arms around the world and Uganda went under a countrywide lockdown. For the tourism sector, this came at a cost.
From post-COVID-19 effects, it is estimated that by December 2020, the industry had lost an estimated 1 million foreign tourists, translating into 4 trillion Uganda shillings in foreign exchange earning.
With the gradual increase of domestic tourism, Uganda's tourism sector is slowly getting back on track. This was emphasized at the launch of the 6th Annual Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo 2021 at Ndere Culture Center.
Our customer number one in the tourism sector is the Ugandan. Because a country that does not do well in domestic tourism cannot do well in international tourism either. Because it's the people themselves that can tell a story about their own country. So as we move, as we are reconnecting now, the reconnection cannot only be to the outside world, the reconnection should also be to the Ugandan.
The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo 2021 aims at not only boosting product knowledge post-COVID-19 in the Ugandan market, but also in digitally promoting Uganda as a top tourism destination regionally and globally.
It is our duty as UTB to reach out to the various stakeholders in the industry to take on new technology, to reinvent ourselves and make sure that we comply with the new happening of things in the world, and we remain part of the global happenings by reaching out digitally so that we cannot be lost out in whatever is happening simply because we had COVID in Uganda.
The markets we're targeting at the moment, a lot of them are still in a serious lockdown, and they have a lot of time to browse and see what is available outside the borders of their own country. Let us take advantage of this, I call it a captive audience, to effectively market what Uganda has to offer.
This year, the expo will be held virtually from 23rd to 25th of April, and it will enable exhibitors to showcase and obtain the latest information on available tourism products from Uganda. Powata 2021 will focus on 4 major areas, which include recovery, rebuilding, rebooting, and reconnecting travel to Uganda. Charlotte Amuge and Robin Yoso for UBC Business.
The construction works of Mpondwe one-stop border post and export zone market have officially commenced. The 12.5 billion shillings project will unleash Uganda's export potential by eliminating restrictions in the strategic transaction and logistical services. Relatedly, Bunagana OSBP construction in Chisoro district has also begun.
The project, with an 18-month completion timeframe, is funded to a tune of 12.5 billion shillings by the World Bank. When fully operational, the Mpondwe one-stop border post and the ultra-modern border export zone is expected to increase capacity for commerce and reduce costs faced by the traders, especially small-scale and women traders at the targeted locations in the borderlands.
Apparently the outcome would be to reduce poverty, to increase export earnings, value addition of our products, so that we don't suffer markets. Don't suffer the same fate like we had suffered with our neighbors like maize, but that one has been sorted. Employment.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has in the recent years risen to become one of the biggest regional and international trade partners of Uganda, with exports to the country surpassing $580 million in 2020.
That means that it's now going to be one of our biggest trade destinations. And the fact that Ministry of Works has a project of working on the infrastructure in DRC justifies
with
that.
Improved infrastructure and streamlined border clearance processes, the trade volumes are expected to increase exponentially.
But particularly speaking on the small-scale traders, most of our people who are exporting goods to DRC, exports don't attract any tax except a few, and that is the hides and skins and fish.
As the market and border post construction works officially commence, the contractor was cautioned against poor work ethic, shoddy work and unnecessary delays.
I wish to urge the contractor and the consultant and technical team from both ministries to ensure that the construction is done with the desired quality within the expected time frame.
Residents at the border town have hailed the project and expressed optimism of an organized and better working environment, which will translate to increased earnings.
The new market will help me a lot. We have been carrying our merchandise from the market every evening, but with the new stores, that will be history. We are also assured of safety. I can see the new developments, and that is the way to go if our border and the country is to prosper.
In a related development, the construction of the Bunagana one-stop border post has also commenced. The 5 billion shillings facility will be completed in 12 months. Bunagana border in Kisoro district, southwest Uganda, links Uganda to the Democratic Republic of Congo.
The Rwanda border was closed and we don't know when it will open. So we are going to push all our energies to this side, and actually they have capacity. DRC has capacity to do business because they have a lot of raw materials and they have a lot of liquid cash.
We had always been using Chanika border to cross to go to Goma. And in fact, even the buses, they would come from Kampala, pass through Chanika, go to DRC. I believe that if this project starts and our project of the roads, I think it is going to intensify the trade and our relations with the DRC.
Facilitating trade in both goods and services requires a holistic approach, targeted investments in infrastructure, policy reforms, and capacity building. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
In our Women's Month feature, we visit Chesa Joan, the lead of Kolongei Women's Group in Kapchora District. The group was formed as a way to sustain livelihoods of these women's families to supplement their men's support. Let's take a look.
The Kolongei Women's Group in Kapchora, Kapchekwarai village, is preparing a nursery bed to plant onion seeds for the first vegetable season of the year. And Chesa Joan is their leader.
I'm a professional teacher. I teach history and CRE, currently private, but along the teaching profession, I decided to join farming. And I didn't like doing farming individually. I decided to go in for farming in form of a group. So I decided to make many friends, most especially my neighbors. After studying the kind of community I'm living in, I decided to engage the women in this area to at least make them more productive than depending on their husbands or men for survival.
Formed in 2015, the group was set up to empower women in Kapchekwarai village.
When I interpreted Kolongei means to bring up or to start a living, coming up, women raising their own households to better levels. So it's called Kolongei Women Group.
The group specializes in growing vegetables like onions, cabbage, sukuma wiki, carrots and spinach, which yield bigger and quicker earnings compared to annual crops whose returns take long. But like any other farmer group in a rural setting, they too face some challenges.
You know, groups, when you're training now groups, they talk about lacking like commitment. Most other people are working. When it comes to harvest, others also want to be there in the harvest day. They want to also share the money. I'm happy they are now repairing, they're making roads, but the road networks, when you harvest your onions like from such a place, to reach it to town is not easy.
We used to face mobilization challenges. Little funds was another. We also used to plant local varieties of onions, which took a long time to mature and yielded low profit. But we now plant hybrids and have seen the value they add.
To this effect, they have recently adopted a hybrid onion variety called Red Koch F1.
Last year, Red Koch earned us about 20 million in the first season. In the second season, we were able to get 25 million. And in the third season, because rains also took long last year, so we were also able to get about million. So we did not face a lot of challenges during the corona period. When the others were crying, for us were eating. Although the prices, we had a challenge with the prices. That was price fluctuation. The market was not so much good, and it became very difficult for us to sell. So what we did, we had to store, and then later we got a price of 1,000, which was not so good, not so bad, fair. At least we sold out, and it did us well.
According to World Bank, women own less land compared to men, and yet they make up more than half of Uganda's agricultural labor force, thereby leading to low productivity. Wadulo Arnold for UBC News in Kapchora District.
In another development, women entrepreneurs have also been urged to join networks of fellow women entrepreneurs and also accommodate change, especially now that Uganda's economy is reviving. Networking is bound to enable them expand their businesses' knowledge and also access more markets for their products and services.
Uganda has the highest number of female entrepreneurs in Africa, with 90% of the women borrowing and saving money to start their businesses. This number is expected expected to increase if only women business owners are willing to network amongst themselves.
When women get together, they're able to have a voice. Women in business are able to get together and have a voice, be able to advocate, because when you're alone, as we have said, you don't know everything. And you can't speak alone. So there's power in numbers, and that is why we network.
The Women in Business belated International Women's Day virtual event, hosted by Uganda Investment Authority and Opportunity Bank, focused on the importance of change in business and creating linkages between business and technology amidst the COVID-19 pandemic.
Embrace change and allow to change. You know, what was there before COVID-19 is different. The way you used to operate before COVID-19 is different. If you stick to the old way of doing things, you'll possibly be left behind or even pushed out of business.
Through the Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Network, women business owners all over the country are bound to expand their knowledge and access various markets.
So our network brings together a diverse cross-section of women in all categories, whether they are big or small, whether they are medium, whether they are in the urban areas or in the rural areas.
Like Susan Chirumira, once a samosa vendor turned hardware owner, women have been urged to apply for loans in order to start their own businesses to support their families socially and economically.
I started making samosas when we used to sell samosa at 50 shillings. But after getting a loan of 100,000, I got strength. After finishing samosas for one packet, I go and buy another packet I make for the same day, so that I can get the money. That's how I learned how to make much money. Because now I'm doing a hardware job. I'm no longer in samosas.
Small and medium enterprises contribute over 25% of Uganda's gross domestic product and employ about 45% of the labor force. Charlotte Amuge and Robin Yoso for UBC Business.
There is no doubt that the corporate sector is recovering from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The corporate wrap gives you a sneak peek of some of the happenings this week.
This initiative is aimed at bringing convenience to the women, especially those that are into business. And as a bank, our role is to be able to provide them financing to be able to access the service. But as part of our Women's Day activities, this initiative is inclined to bringing the woman in the spotlight and trying to address the challenges that a woman experiences in day-to-day life.
These women groups have an opportunity to become Starbucks agents, in that they can do business with Starbucks and they can run the cages and their groups can manage the cages and benefit from the profit that comes out of that. So in that way we are having a win-win situation for both Starbucks and the clients of Starbucks, and then also the agents of Finance Trust Bank.
After listening to our customers, we came up with this easy way of applying for electricity, where the customer, in the comfort of their living room, they can be able to apply for a connection.
We are going to see a lot of rooftops, we are going to see a lot of mini-grids, we are going to see a lot of embedded generation within our sector, and therefore we as grid operators must start preparing for that journey.
We have verified products that belong to BDF, and some of those products, as you can see, Sports Gin here and Spark Warrage here, they are not stamped as required by the law. And for that reason, of course, we have seen some products on the market that have caused harmful health complications to our customers and taxpayers. And for that reason, we are enforcing and making sure that our suppliers, our taxpayers, get products that are authentic.
On the regional scene, Kenya has opened up its borders again for Uganda's maize after a temporary ban. The maize impasse had attracted condemnation from politicians, business community and the public at large.
It is nearly a week since the Kenyan government imposed a temporary ban on export of Ugandan maize produce to its market on assumption that it contains aflatoxins. Since then, Ugandan maize dealers have been crying foul.
Indeed, there wasn't any formal communication to us. Just we are told within 24 hours that Kenyan government is no longer in need of Ugandan maize due to the fact that it's full of aflatoxin.
By the time of our visit to this maize milling plant and store located in Kawempe, 2 of the maize transport lorries that were bounced back by the Kenyan authorities were being offloaded. Hayat Naguja Sarafina and Senyonjo Hamidi are seasoned maize dealers who have been hit hard by this latest decision by the Nairobi government.
Because they have been consuming it for a while, for very many years along. So you cannot wake up one morning and you say that you don't bring Ugandan maize. It's full of aflatoxin and you make people lose a lot of money.
Renowned city lawyer Fred Mwema believes it is now time for East African community integration and federation protocols to take center stage.
So on the side of trade, I feel that the matter must be resolved under the trade pact that these countries have. And you need to know that this is not the first trade dispute between countries. Countries are always fighting and quarreling over why you're not taking this and protectionism and tariffs.
By and large, the fact remains that the Ugandan market has for years registered an influx of either counterfeit or toxic products. Hence, the Kenyan embargo can substitute as an opener. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
I want to give you a practical example which I've gone through myself. I am importing some things from Netherlands. Immediately the information reaches the supplier, he answers me. When he packs the things, he tells me. When he has put on FedEx, he tells me. 3 days the things are in Nairobi. It takes 8 days to move that thing, to get it moved from the cargo in Nairobi to me. How do we overcome this? Through learning.
Sipi Falls in eastern Uganda on the slopes of Mount Elgon is one of the major tourist attractions that we have. Now, besides the attractive scenery, the site also offers interesting tourism activities such as hiking and abseiling. We'll take a look at Sipi Falls in our Sounds of Business. As we strive to take advantage of regional and continental trade partnerships, it is prudent that we ensure quality products. This will not only improve domestic revenue, but will open up more export markets. Thank you for being a part of this week's Business Roundup program. My name is Wadulo Arnold, and we're coming to you from the Kampala Serena Hotel. Catch us next time, same place. From the team, we must say good night.
We can't tolerate sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is unacceptable in our school.
Because a good school equals a better life.